This is Rod, and you're tuned in to Down Memory Lane, Letcher County Memories for the first and second week of January of 1964. The information in today's program is taken from the Letcher County Community Press newspaper of Cremona, Kentucky for the first and second week of January 1964. And sometimes around the 22nd of December, Letcher County lost a good, respectable citizen of the county, Mr. Sanford Adams. Mr. Adams is the superintendent of the Letcher County schools. He had been sick for about a month, but it was not life-threatening. However, on Sunday after dinner at his home in Eola, he suddenly passed away. Mr. Dml Kraft of Mayking appointed superintendent and takes over the duties of Mr. Adams. Mr. Kraft had worked in every phase of the school system. He had served as superintendent from 1952 to 1956. He was principal of Jenkins High School from 1956 to 1961. Mr. Kraft hoped to place emphasis on dropout. He wants to enlist parents, teachers, and civic organizations. Also wants more vocational training programs that will lessen the number of dropouts and opportunities for students to purchase a good trade. He wants a closer relationship with teachers and have frequent meetings with them and encourage them to take courses and use service programs.
I saw her today, I saw her face, it was a face I loved. And I knew I had to run away and get down on my knees and pray that they'd go away, but still they began needles and pins because of all my pride, the tears I gotta hide. Hey, I thought I was smart, I had one heart, didn't think I'd do. But then I see she's worse to him than me. Let her go ahead, take his love instead, and one day she will see just how to say please and get down on her knees. Yeah, that's how it begins. She feels those needles and pins hurting her. Why can't I stop and tell myself I'm wrong, so wrong? Why can't I stand up and tell myself I'm strong? Because I saw her today, I saw her face, was a face I loved. And I know I had to run away and get down on my knees and pray that they'd go away, but still they begin. Needles and pins because of all my pride, the tears I gotta hide. Oh, needles and pins, needles and pins, needles and pins.
A safety banquet is held on January 4th for 130 Beth Elkhorn Division employees. Also present at the banquet are 14 guests of the Beth Elkhorn Company organization. A 4-course filet mignon dinner is served. It is a wonderful dinner and a lively discussion of safety concerns. The group is commended for their good safety program and a record as well. Mr. David Ziegler, Division Superintendent, recognized a number of employees. The men with the best record, Drexel Webb, Palmer Scott from Mine 22 without a lost time accident. Denver Plummer, who also is Mine 22 with 14 years without a lost time accident. 60 others were recognized for no lost time accident records. Jenkins may be getting a new high school. There is much going on in the school board in raising money to build a new high school for the area of Jenkins. Superintendent Snap has proposed a tax increase of $1 per $100 of assessed valued property. $700,000 is needed to construct the new school. He has asked a citizens committee to discuss the issue and work out a plan in order to get information out to the citizens and develop a house-to-house campaign. In regard to this, there will be a panel discussion on the new school building on Saturday, January 11th on WNKY radio station. The Fleming Neon basketball team deserves congratulations. Jesse Phillips, a 6'1" senior guard for the Fleming Neon Pirates, the leading basketball point maker in the county. Phillips averages 26 points per game. With his point values, the Fleming Neon Pirates are having their best season in 6 years. The team is being coached by Ralph Robert. Cavaliers basketball team is undefeated during this week of January. However, they may have gotten the pants scared off them in their first regular game in the Whitesburg Yellow Jackets this season on Tuesday night, January 6th, when they found themselves down by 13 points during the second quarter. They began making a comeback as the Jackets lost their magic touch, and by the 2-minute mark of the third quarter, they had tied the score at 41 as approximately 600 fans watched as the Jenkins teams rode to victory in a great game. From the Mac Roberts area this week, we find that Mrs. Pearl Champion and her 3 youngest sons left for Ohio to make their home with Mr. and Mrs. Dml Champion. Mrs. Champion has been a heart patient since her heart attack several months ago. Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Mullins have returned home after spending the holidays with their family. Mrs. Bess Huffman will be spending some time in Ohio with Betty, Fern, and James. Mrs. John C. Odom visited her daughter in Syersville this week. Mr. and Mrs. Lee Patterson were in Columbia, Tennessee this week and have gotten snowbound. Happy birthday wishes go out this week to Mrs. Bob Naramore, Mrs. J.M. Fuller, Mr. J.R. Baker, Virginia Williams, Paul Barker, Mike Williams, and Etzel Baker. Mrs. Kelly Desimoni and Mrs. Jeff Hollyfield went bowling this week in Wise, Virginia. Get well wishes go out this week to Sheila K. Ziteroff. Mrs. David Barker and daughter visits relatives this week, and the children of Mr. and Mrs. Jordan Fleming are suffering the mumps. Mr. and Mrs. Ed Bain of Mac Roberts are planning a family reunion soon to celebrate their 16th wedding anniversary. They have been living in Mac Roberts since 1925. In and around the Jenkins area this week, down memory lane wishes to send out a great big hello to Mr. and Mrs. Everett Potter, Mr. and Mrs. Tony Dan, Mr. and Mrs. Sam Hancock, Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Mahan, Elva and Gertrude Gamble, Chester Wolf, Mr. and Mrs. J.M. Frazier, Betsy Gambrell, R.L. Blake, Sammy Holtzclaw, Cheryl Adams, Teddy Pass, Roger D. Priest, Russell Adkins, Mrs. Mac Adams, Carl Whitaker, and Ursula McPeak. Little Miss Kathy Hancock, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Sam Hancock, underwent surgery on both her feet last week at Holston Valley Hospital. She is now home and doing good. George Asbury is in Lexington this week at the University Medical Center. He is reported to be very ill. His daughter Carolyn, Mrs. Jack Reed Hall of Ermine, and his sons George Jr. accompanied him there. His other sons, Frank of Richmond and Russell at Eastern College, are standing by. Miss Peggy Sue Dixon, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Dixon of Jenkins, has been elected to Who's Who in colleges and universities. Peggy is attending Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. She is a senior at the university and will graduate this semester with a psychology major and a biology minor, and she has been selected as the friendliest girl in the senior class.
Just moved in my new house today. heart, but I got squared away. Bells started ringing and chains rattled loud. I knew I'd moved in a haunted house. Still I made up in my mind to stay. Nothing was gonna drive me away. When I seen something that give me the creep, had one big eye and a two big feet. I stood right still and I did the freeze. He did the stroll right up to me, made a noise with his feet that sound like a drum. Say you'll be here when the morning comes. Say yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here and I ain't gonna run. I bought this house, now you know I'm boss. Ain't no Hank gonna run me off. In my kitchen, my stove was a-blazing hot. The coffee was a-boiling in the pot. The grease had melted in my hand. I had a hunk of meat in my hand. From outer space there sat a man on a hot stove with the pots and pans. Say that's hot, I began to shout. He drank a hot coffee right from the spout. He ate the raw meat right from my hand. Drank a hot grease from the frying pan. He said to me, now you better run. Don't be here when the morning comes. See, yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here and I ain't gonna run. I bought this house, now you know
Looking now into our Heyman community, we find that Mr. and Mrs. Britton Stidham had visitors this week, their son Dan, wife, and baby. Mr. Hiram Ben Collins, son of Mr. and Mrs. William Collins, has completed 2 years of Army service, including a tour in Germany, and he is now back home at his teaching job. Mr. and Mrs. Johnny King have dinner guests this week. Harvey Underwood has spent a number of days at the Harlan Hospital due to an injury he received while working in the mine. Southern Bell Telephone announces this week a $26 million expansion during the upcoming year. Southern Bell will construct new buildings, new cable, new poles, and new equipment to provide more and better telephone service requests. Social Security statistics this month show that more than 365 men, women, and children are receiving benefit payments in Letcher County at the beginning of the year, amounting to more than $20,000 a month. This represents a 6.5% increase over last year. 1940 was the first year that Social Security payments were made, and at the close of the first year, 220,000 people in the nation were receiving Social Security payments. At the beginning of this year, over 19 million are on the Social Security rolls. The benefit payment for the last year of 1963 totaled $235 million. The new Jenkins City Council is sworn in on January 6th. Jesse Bates administered the oath to Albert Moon Childers, Hugh Clark, Farley Gilly, Lonnie Helton, William Toth, and James Lucas. The big task for the City Council this year is expected to be the construction of the city sewage system. 15 new bookmobiles will be added to the fleet of bookmobiles in Kentucky counties this month by the State Department of Libraries. This purchase of 15 more vehicles will bring the total of Kentucky bookmobiles to 103 vehicles. At Hoover's Bargain Store, this first 2 weeks of January, we find the January sale. Robin Hood shoes, $3.95. Boys Robin Hood dress or Oxford shoes, $2.95. Men's boots, $15.95. Leather Oxford, $6.99. Men's overhaul jackets, $3.99. Men's white dress shirts, $1.47. Men's sweaters from $4.99 to $7.99. Men's Fruit of the Loom sports shirt, $1.88 to $2.99 each. Ladies' car coats, $4.99. Ladies' coats, $9.99. Ladies' house shoes, 2 pair for $3. Ladies' heels and flats, $2. Blankets, 2 for $4.99. Bedspreads, $3.99 each. And towels at 88 cents. All at Hoover's January sale in Whitesburg. A great big hello goes out this week to Maddie Hart, Gail Ladd, Shirley Adams, Blanche Stevens, Faye Higgins, Reba Kinser, Opal Stewart, Ruby Stevens, Dorothy Stevens, and Nina Polly. And also a great big hello to Phil Greer, Jerry Conley, David Bentley, Robert Collins, Laurie Mullins, Dickie Tucker, Kenny Blair, and the entire Cavalier basketball team of Jenkins High School.
Finding a job tomorrow morning. Got a little something I wanna do. Gonna buy something I could ride in. I'll take my girl dating at the drive-in. Our love's gonna be written down in history, just like Romeo and Juliet. I'm gonna buy her pretty presents, just like the ones in a catalog. I'm gonna show how much I love her. I'll let her know one way or the other. Our love's gonna be written down in history, just like Romeo and Juliet. 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 Talk about love and romance. Just wait till I get myself straight. I'm gonna put Romeo's fame right smack dab on a date. Oh, right now I'm speculating. Wonder what tomorrow's gonna really bring. If I don't find work tomorrow, it's gonna be heartaches and sorrow. Our love's gonna be destroyed by a tragedy, just like Romeo and Juliet. 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 Just like Romeo and Juliet.
Congratulations to Private Darrell L. Profit, son of Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Profit of Whitesburg. Private Profit has completed an 8-week Communication Center Specialist course at Fort Gordon, Georgia. Profit is a 1963 graduate of Whitesburg High School. Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Bill Mullins of Morristown, Tennessee. They have just welcomed home a 7 1/2 pound baby girl. Mrs. Mullins is the former Phyllis Cook, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. P. Cook. Mom and Dad have named the new bundle of joy Nancy Lou. And congratulations to Second Lieutenant Bert R. Francis, son of Mrs. Sabrina Francis of Whitesburg. Lieutenant Francis has completed the Artillery Officers Orientation Course at Quantico, Virginia. And that is our report for the first and second week of January of the year of 1964, right here on your Down Memory Lane Letcher County Memories.